What is going on, guys? It's Motherboard here. Welcome back to another episode of Hardware Tutorials. This is a series that I have not made a new video in quite some time, but we now have a new generation of consoles, the Xbox Series X and S, and of course the PlayStation 5. And so in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to fully disassemble the Xbox Series X. A full teardown guide showing you how to take it apart piece by piece so you can get access to all the internals. For reasons such as, obviously, if you want to clean it out, if it gets too much dust in there, you want to clean it. Or of course, if there's a problem with it and you want to try and repair it yourself, then you're going to need to get in there. Also, the SSD, the internal SSD in the Series S and X, is actually a removable NVMe drive. So that does look like it is upgradable. So you can pop that drive out and possibly replace it in future with a higher or faster capacity drive, which is quite surprising. A lot of people thought that it would be like a soldered on chip to the motherboard, but turns out it's actually a removable drive, but it is very hard to get access to. But upgrading that drive might turn out to be cheaper than buying one of those Seagate expansion cards. So yeah, quite a few reasons why you might want to get inside the console here. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is place the console down flat like this. And there's two screws that you need to get out. The first one is on this sticker, so it's underneath the sticker. If you run your finger along the sticker, you'll feel the indentation of where the screw is, and then just puncture the sticker with a Torx 8 screwdriver. You can pretty much use a Torx 8 or a Torx 9 screwdriver for all the screws that are in the system. You might get away with a Torx 10 on some of the screws. So we're going to take this one out. So just puncture the sticker and take the screw out. Now this sticker may act as a warranty sticker, which I know isn't technically legal in the States, so whether you want to just remove the sticker anyway or rip the sticker if you don't care about it being a warranty sticker, and you want to remove it carefully so you can reapply the sticker back on when you put the console back together, then Linus Tech Tips did a good video showing how to properly remove warranty stickers and put them back on. So you can give that video a try if you care about something like that. I don't, so I've just gone ahead and ripped the sticker and taken the screw out. So the next one is this right here. So this looks like a piece of plastic, but it is actually a thick sticker. So you want to just get your screwdriver or plastic pry tool underneath that sticker, just like that. And whoa, okay, flipped right off there. And that is that one. So as you can see, hiding underneath there was another screw. So this again is a Torx 8, I believe. But you'll probably get away with using a Torx 9 screwdriver to get that one off too. So now to lift this whole section off, we're going to pull up from the bottom. Now you're better using plastic pry tools than screwdrivers. My plastic pry tool broke, that's why I'm using a screwdriver. The problem with using screwdrivers is you are going to get these little marks on the casing. So if you use a plastic prying tool or maybe a butter knife or something, then you're not going to damage the plastic as much. If at all. So you're just going to get the screwdriver in there to lift it up, and then do the same on the other side. Once you've got that up, you can literally just lift the whole thing up and pull it out. Even though there was a lot of clips, they are really not secure clips. They can come out quite easily, and now you have access to the back of the system. So the first thing we're going to take out is the fan. It's probably the easiest thing to take out, which is really handy, so it's quite easy for cleaning. So we're just going to remove this screw right here, big screw right there, and there's two smaller screws at either side here that we're going to take out. So we're going to take those out. Then you have the cable, the fan power cable that's plugged into the motherboard, so you're just going to pull that one out like that, and then the whole fan should just slide right out. Simple as that. Really handy, great design from Microsoft. This is going to be super easy to clean, very easy to take out. You can vacuum the fan blades or use compressed air and then just slot it back in, put the screws back in, put the panel back on, and you're good to go. So very handy right there. So to open this up any further, we are going to have to take off the stand. So the stand right here needs to come off, and this is quite tricky. So in here, there's a little latch. It's not this one, which I thought it was initially. Why it's all messed up, because I was trying that and that's not the right one. But behind that one, this right here is a little latch that you can get a screwdriver in if I get my screwdriver in there and pull up on it, you want to do that with one hand, pull that up with the screwdriver, that little latch there, and then at the same time as you're doing that, you're going to twist the whole stand towards you. So twist it this way, and then it will come off. Okay, so to demonstrate that, I'm going to put the screwdriver in here, as you can see. So this is on the latch, and then I'm going to push it up like this so the latch is upwards, and then I'm going to twist the stand, and it just pops off like that. So that is the stand. So what you'll find underneath the stand is you have more screws. So you've got 2 black screws. There's one there and another one up here. And then you've got these 3 kind of green screws as well. So you want to take all of those screws out. All right, so at this point, we've got to take off these ribbon cables as well, because they lead to the USB ports and the sync button. And this one here leads to the power button and the eject button. So this one you should just be able to take off quite easily. It might be quite stiff at first, so just make sure you maybe waggle it around a little bit as you try and take it out. Don't just try and yank it out as hard as you can, because you'll probably break it. So be careful with that one. This one here does not just pull out straight away. There is a mechanism to this one. So you can see there, it kind of, this little metal bit pops out just like that. You see how it's popped out like that? So if you can get, you can use a screwdriver or a pair of tweezers or something just to pop that out a little bit, and then you can pull the cable and it'll come out just like that. So you can see now the mechanism right there. So you just flick that out like that, and you'll be able to slide the cable in and then close it up to secure it in place when you put it back in. So yeah, that's how that works. So then this part here that plugs into the USB cable, we need to, or the USB board, the front USB, you're just going to unplug that one as well. Quite simple, that comes out no problem. Again, all of these cables might be quite stiff if you're taking these out for the first time. So again, just don't force it too hard. So then we've got another screw here that's keeping the disk drive in place. So we're going to take that out. And now we can remove this. So to get this off, this is a kind of a little plastic piece which kind of stops the disk drive from rattling around and vibrating too much. So we're going to lift this up from the bottom by getting a screwdriver or knife or plastic pry tool in there to lift that up. And then it should just lift up, and then the whole thing should come off. Now the disk drive is exposed, so unplug the power cable for the disk drive and the data cable for the disk drive. And then you can just pull the whole disk drive off. So this disk drive is a DG6M5S-03B, which was manufactured in April of this year. Okay, so now that you've done that, we can pretty much remove the whole console from the plastic case now. So what you're going to want to do is be careful of this ribbon cable that runs down here, because it has an adhesive kind of strip that's stuck to this side of the case. So what you're going to want to do is maybe take like a butter knife or plastic pry tool or something. I'm going to use the back of the tweezers just to push that down into the adhesive to separate the adhesive from the side of the case. Once you've done that, you'll be able to kind of push this out this way. So move it out this way a tad, just a little bit, so there's a little gap here, and then you can pull the whole thing out of the case. I guess if we want to be consistent, then we'll take these off as well. But yeah, so this is the little RF board that ultimately connects the power button to the rest of the motherboard. So yeah, there is an adhesive strip, so you need to get in underneath the plastic strip. There we go. And then lift up on the other side too. All right, and there it goes. That's it. So that, yeah, this board has the power button up here, and the eject button down here. So that is how you do that. So last but not least, we have this part here, which of course goes to the USB ports at the front, the USB port, and the sync button. So, yeah, so it looks like this just kind of lifts up. Oh, I can't take it apart. Never mind. That's fine. Yeah, so you just take that one screw off that was there. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. So there's a screw there that's holding this in place here. And then once that's out, it just pops off. Then there's 3 screws here you can take off to get the whole board out. 4 actually, there's one there too. Okay, so placing this down. So this is the whole console here. You've got the Wi-Fi chip, the power supply unit on top, the beefy heatsink right here for the CPU. You've got the 2 motherboards kind of sandwiched together. This one here along the top. And then the main board, I guess you could say, is down here, running right here. And you've got these 2 big blocks of aluminium holding them in place. So first of all, we're going to take off this kind of vibration dampening band that's that goes around the whole thing. There's a little latch here that you can use to take it off, both ends. There we go. You can just take that whole thing off. Now the Wi-Fi chip. So we're going to take that one off too, which again, Torx 8 or Torx 9 screwdriver. Okay, so with those screws off, you can just pull this straight off. Quite simple. Okay, so with this point, I would recommend just taking out every single screw that you see. So there are quite a lot of them. So there's a screw here, as you can see. There's a black screw here, there's a screw there, there, another one here, right here. There's 3 that are holding the power connector on. So one there, and one there. And then also you've got another screw here, another one here, another one here, and one here. So these are all, I think, T8, or well, some of them are a bit wider, but generally a T8 or T9 screwdriver will work. And we're just going to take all of those screws off. Okay, so once you have all of those screws taken out, we can unclip this plastic kind of cable holder that's holding the power plug cable in right there. Then we can lift this whole section off. In fact, there's this little piece here at the side that you want to take off first. Then you can lift this whole thing off, just like that. So now we have more access to the motherboard. Now there's another screw that appears when you take that little metal piece off. So this screw right here. Okay, so now we're going to take off all these cables. So you've got the SATA data cable, which is for the disk drive, the power cable for the disk drive. There's this little two pin kind of PCIe connector. Then there's this other kind of 10-pin PCIe style connector for the power supply. That just comes off. And then the whole power supply unit will just lift off after that. So that is the whole PSU off. There's more screws on the plastic part. So if you want to take this plastic part off the PSU, so you can put a new PSU on it if you're replacing it, then just take those silver screws off as well. Okay, so as you can see, more screws all over the place now. So there's this other Wi-Fi chip. Not entirely sure why there's 2 Wi-Fi chips in the system. Sure, there's a perfectly good reason. Maybe it's like higher bandwidth or something if there's 2 combined. Not sure. Can't just be for redundancy. There must be a valid reason to have 2 of them in here. So we're just going to take that off. Quite simply, you lift up and then pull to the left, and it will come out right there. So finally we have screw here, 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 and here. Take all of those out, and then you'll be able to get this metal piece off. Okay, so with all those screws out, this will just lift off. And now this plastic piece here will just come off as well. And finally, the last thing is this cable. So this cable connects this motherboard to the kind kind of the other motherboard that has the CPU, the main chip on there. So we're just going to pull that off. Again, it might be quite stiff. There's kind of little tabs at the side that you can kind of stretch outwards, although that doesn't seem to make much of a difference. So, you know, again, wiggle it around. Just don't try and yank it out really hard. You know, be gentle with it. So now you can lift this whole board off. So let's take a look at the back. You've got like the Southbridge chip, you've got the USB ports and the RJ45 Ethernet port right there, and of course the plug for that Wi-Fi chip. So that is one half of the Xbox Series X motherboard. So now you have this aluminium block right here that needs to come off. So this will just lift off, and you just got to route this cable through that slit so you can get it out. So again, it's no wonder the Xbox Series X is so heavy. You've got all these big blocks of aluminium, pretty solid pieces right here. So now you have the back side of the other motherboard, the other half. So we're gonna unplug this cable again. So from here, you now have access to the SSD. So this slot here is the expansion slot for the Seagate proprietary storage cards for the Xbox Series X. So that is the slot right there. The internal SSD is this one here, which is next to the slot that connects the two motherboards together. So you can lift up with a screwdriver on these, on this little covering, this little metal covering. It's got these thermal pads on there as well to transfer the heat from those NVMe drives to the aluminium block to dispel some of the heat. So there we go, we get that off, and you can see there that it is a removable NVMe drive. So we're just gonna unscrew that. You should be able to just lift that up with your fingers and then pull it out. So there it is there. There's the SSD, the internal storage, which indeed is a removable drive. So it looks like this can be upgraded. Obviously it is a kind of small form factor NVMe drive, not one of the longer ones. So you will need to replace it with the same form factor sized NVMe drive. But it looks like you could upgrade this with a faster drive, a larger capacity drive. Probably has, you know, Microsoft's partitioned it in a certain way with certain files, operating system files on a particular partition like they do with the Xbox One. So that may mean that you have to end up, you know, formatting a new drive in a specific way with the right files on there to get it to work. But it does look like it is indeed upgradable, so that's a good sign. So now we can remove this covering over the X clamp. So just do it the same way. Use a screwdriver, plastic pry tool to pry this open piece by piece. Once you get enough of it off, you should be able to just kind of get your fingers underneath there and get it open. Yeah, so now we have the X clamp. So this is the point of kind of no return. If you remove this, then you're going to have to reapply thermal paste to the console when you put it back together, because you're going to be separating the heatsink from the motherboard at this point. So you will have to reapply thermal compound. So make sure you have some thermal compound. You know, that's kind of cheap one, but you know, you need to make sure you have some thermal compound if you're going to open it up any further. But we want to have a look at the front of the board, so we're going to take these off. Just going to loosen them at each opposite end. Okay. So it just starts to ping off after a while. Okay, so there we go. X clamp is off. So finally, we turn this around. So at this point, the whole heatsink should just lift off. Now you can take these screws off as well. If you take these screws off, then you're essentially separating the heatsink from the vapor chamber. You don't really need to do that. You can take the whole thing off just like this and have this as one block. But obviously, if you want to be able to separate them, just take out all of these screws. You know, you can see the thermal paste and all the thermal pads that go around these memory chips. And that is a look at the kind of front part of the main motherboard, where you have the main chip. I guess it must be an APU, right? So GPU and CPU on one chip. and all the memory, all the VRM memory chips around there. Okay, so we're just going to clean some of this thermal paste off using some kitchen roll or paper towels, whatever you call them. So let's have a look at this chip. There it is right there, Project Scarlet, made in Taiwan, Series X. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. That's how you fully take apart the Xbox Series X console. So I hope you guys found the information useful, or I hope it helped you guys. And stay tuned if you want to learn how to reassemble it. Now, yeah, you can just do it yourself, just reverse what you did to take it apart. But, you know, if you want more detail on putting it back together, I will be doing a separate video showing how to get it from this stage where it's all in bits and put it all back together into a working console again. That's what we'll be covering in the next episode, but I'll also be doing lots of other hardware tutorials on the next gen consoles. I'll be doing a teardown of the PS5 and probably a reassembly video of that as well. I'll also be doing videos taking apart the controllers, swapping the LEDs out on the controller and on the power LED for the console so you can change them to different colors. I might even do a video on installing LED strips on the console potentially. So we'll see, but there's going to be definitely a bunch more videos on the next gen consoles, hardware level stuff, and possibly some software stuff as well in the near future. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video or found the information useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one.